Is there pee in the dating pool?
And what's that?
All right. You guys, welcome to the Good Genes and Generations podcast. I am Kelly, I'm mom.
And I'm Alana, I'm the daughter.
And we built this podcast because we wanted to help mothers and daughters to bond. Yes, we wanted to help mother-daughter relationships, help to see mother and daughters bond on different topics and things of that nature. So today we're talking about dating. This is the dating episode.
Yes.
We're excited.
So excited.
Yes, so excited about this episode because there's so many things to talk about as it relates to dating.
And you guys voted on between skincare and dating. So that means our next episode will be skincare.
That's right.
And for our podcast family online, if y'all want to see the vlog for that, it's gonna be on our YouTube channel. What's our YouTube channel?
It is it should be Good Genes, the Good Genes podcast.
Yep. So our skincare vlog will also be included in that podcast. So make sure you guys go tune in.
Yes, make sure.
2 Wednesdays, however that is.
Yeah, 2 Wednesdays from now. Because we're gonna do something fun with that. We're gonna do First, we're going to go on like an outing to Sephora and our Ulta, or maybe both, and just kind of find some products for our skin. We're both huge on skincare. So we'll talk more about that a little bit later on Instagram. So be sure that you're following us on Instagram. We'll talk about what skincare means to us and why, what our skincare goals are. And then you'll take a trip with us to Sephora and Ulta.
Yes.
We'll do a little haul. And then we're also going to do a daughter does my makeup segment as well. So we're excited about episode 3, but now we're about to jump into episode 2. So yes, let's go ahead and talk about it. So we have a question for you that Alana's gonna go ahead and ask. So this is for the mothers and daughters, and let's do it.
All right, so for the mothers, I first want to ask you guys, what age would y'all allow your daughters to date? And for the daughters, what age, like myself, what age do y'all feel most comfortable dating?
I like that. That's a good question. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and give my answer. And I think that I felt that 16 was a good start for you. I'm gonna be honest, I was a little bit nervous about that. I was still like, not yet. But I knew that that's kind of around the time that I could start when I was that age. And so that's what I went with. So yeah.
And for me, I feel personally, the age I feel comfortable starting a date is 17, because I feel like that's just getting into my more mature age, and I also have the money to support both of us and things like that.
Pause. So when you say the money to support both of us, what do you mean? To make sure you're talking into the mic.
I mean like going on dates, treating him, I'm 15, 16. Well, if you're working at that age, then of course you can do that. But at 15, 16, I couldn't buy him nothing, and I couldn't spoil him as he spoiled me.
Okay.
So things like that.
That's very considerate of you, because I think sometimes at that age that is not on usually a young lady's mind to say, oh, I want to help pay for a date or help support in that way. So girl, you good. Like you a good catch. Okay, you a good catch. They don't even know, because these girls be ready to take money. Okay, they be ready to have a date. And I have to brag on your father for a second, because we co-parent and everything. And one thing he told me, he was like, listen, if she is going on a date, let me know so I can give her some money, because I don't want her to be fully dependent on the guy. So shout out to you, Antoine, for that. Seriously, I appreciate that you want to play that type of role in her life and support her. So shout out to you on that.
Yeah, my father's a good role model.
Yes, he is. And so despite it all, I am glad that he loves and supports his daughter with that and his voice. But anyway, all right.
So now we can get into the more of me, less of him. So
you said that backwards.
Less of me, more of him.
Yes.
And that's a segment in our podcast we do to just show God more into our lives and more into this podcast.
Yes. So
did you want to read it today?
Okay. Well, I actually have my own little thing I wanted to share.
Oh.
And so yes, this is the less of me, more of him segment. We're going to include this in each episode because we want to just have that time out for a devotional. So if y'all are struggling with your prayer time, we want to make sure that we support you with getting that in. Yes. I think it's important to do individually and together as mothers and daughters. So y'all pray together as a family. Spend that time with God together as a family too. All right, so
the scripture I had today, since my phone finna die.
Okay.
Was 2 Timothy 2:22. Flee the evil desires of youth and pursue righteousness, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord out of pure heart.
I love that. That's so good. Can you share what that meant to you or what that said to you?
What it meant to me was as a teenager, being pure in my walk with Christ and also being pure in my relationships, whether that's dating or friendships, making sure I have righteousness, love, and peace in my relationships, because the Bible says love goes a long way, and love is the greatest out of all things.
I love that.
I should always have that in my relationships.
Okay, I love that. That is so good. That is so good. So yes, so we wanted to just share that segment with you. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope that it, more than anything, that it really builds up your boldness and your faith in Christ. So yes. So next topic, we're going to talk about, we're still talking about dating, so we're going to get into that a little bit more now.
Okay, so our next one is why we think it's important to have an open discussion between mothers and daughters about dating.
I like that question. So do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I could go first. Okay. I think it's important to have a discussion about dating, but in a mother-daughter relationship. So, especially for daughters, so they aren't led astray in this world, because it's so easy to be misguided in this world without knowledge about who's the right one for you, or about sex, or even about characteristics about your own self, and making sure you love yourself first before getting in a relationship. So I feel like that stuff is very important to talk about between mothers and daughters.
That is so good. I love that.
Because that's what she taught me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do you feel I did on that? But yeah, I definitely tried to be an example. I wanted to make sure that I brought them up without seeing men in and out of the home, or seeing even me like date multiple guys. I'm very careful and selective with who I date, especially now. Of course, I made mistakes back in the day, but yeah, it was very important. At least they didn't. The mistakes I did make, oh God, let me say it this way. The mistakes I made, they did not meet, okay? So they have no idea who those people are unless I told them, but they never saw them in person. They were not over here. Nobody spent the night, anything crazy like that. I didn't play that mess though. And I think that it's important because I want to be that role model, and I want to show them, God's plan for dating. And as I've grown in my walk with Christ and in my walk in dating, I think that it's giving them structure that they will have. I've always said I want my daughter to be able to look up to me as it pertains to, you know, a lot of different things in life, but especially as it pertains to dating and relationships. And then I want my son to be able to look up to me in the sense of the qualities that he would want in a wife. I want to have and exude those qualities so he will know what to look for. So yeah.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah. So what we got next?
So the next thing is, I wanted to ask you a question,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to ask you, when do you think is the right time to have the talk in a mother-daughter relationship?
Okay, so yeah, the talk is very important, and I believe,
and also more as when's the right time, more age-wise.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question. I definitely would say, like, for some deeper stuff, maybe 13.
Okay.
But like just on the surface stuff, I would say like 7 and 8, because kids are being introduced to like sexual things,
Yes.
dating, giving opinions and ideas very early now. It's in their cartoons, it's in the things that they read, it's in the books, whether it's about anything and everything. Okay, and so I think that it's very important to have the talk with them as early as possible when you feel like they're mature and that they can understand.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely say, hey, it's time for us to, you know, let's have level 1, like moms, dads, even. If you just map out a level and then put in that map what each level should contain. Start with level 1 just being about kissing, you know, touch, or good touch and bad touch. And then level 2 should be about maybe liking somebody, because that starts early too. You know, you're gonna have a little crush. I want to have that story. We won't go into it, but she had a little crush on somebody in school. I did too, like in elementary school. Like that stuff starts early because it's in our nature.
Yeah.
And so that's normal. And so I think if we just ignore it, that's not good. That's not going to solve anything, and it's not going to help our children grow.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I would definitely say at least 7 or 8, start level 1 conversations and go up from there.
Because in today's age, kids are getting pregnant left and right. I see it all the time. Kids 12, 13.
Wow.
Because they're so uneducated about this stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
And also their parents just don't care.
Yeah. And some parents are just, they don't care, or they just feel like, oh, they'll figure it out later, or they think they still have time. So this is like, hey, this is your son. Go ahead and start talking to your child.
For real.
Yeah. So I'm glad that she brought that up, because it's a very important topic in our home to continue that sex education type talk. Yeah.
I can't remember what age you had to talk with me.
Yeah, I can't remember specifically.
I feel like probably 8 between 8 to 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
And number 4, talk about our dating experiences briefly and what we learned from them.
Okay. You want me to start?
You can start.
All right. So yeah, I would say that, and let me see something. I just want to make sure I don't answer like the next question. Okay. So my dating experiences have not been the best. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I wish I could get on here and be like, oh girl, I had some great dating experiences. But I did and I didn't. Like, I've always shared with her this one guy that I dated, like when I was first allowed to date. He lived in Sumter, and he would come to my home maybe even twice in a day. And that was a little drive for us back then as teenagers, but he would always come and he would spoil the heck out of me. Like, it's funny that my first relationship I was spoiled in, and so that like set the standard for everybody. And that might be why some of my other relationships didn't go well, because my expectations were high. Okay, it was like he made sure he literally had baskets with all of my favorite things. If I like Kit Kats, if I like certain chips, and I think we should be good on this end, but if I like certain things, he made sure that I had those things and that I was enjoying like life to the fullest. We went certain places that were really special. There was this place in Sumter called Swan Lake. We would go there. It was beautiful. I felt spoiled, y'all, and I think that's kind of the thing that helped set my expectations high.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you learn from your past relationships?
Yeah. So for the not so good ones, especially, so from the good one, I would definitely say I had high expectations. It reminded me that I'm worthy and not to settle. And that's something that I think God had to teach me throughout the broken relationships. But one of the biggest lessons that I've had to learn, even as a grown woman, is just that there's a lot of people are broken. And so I used to be bitter and felt like I could never date again. I can't do it. It's just, I won't do it. I wanted to have God open my heart back up to it, but I was just like, how can I? And God really started speaking to my heart and reminded me that ex was broken.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowing a broken person to stop your desire for love. You're allowing somebody to stop something that I created that is good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the biggest lessons I learned, is not to allow another broken person with their little mistakes to break me or my desire for love.
Yes, I love that. And that's why we have to be so important to not be unequally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
So not to allow another broken person who's not even right with God to come into our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because I thought when the Bible was talking about unequally yoked, I thought it was talking about an egg.
I love that. Yeah, that's definitely something that you would first think. Like, if you had never heard of equally yoked, you would definitely think like eggs.
Yes.
Like, what we talking about? Yeah.
And I learned about it in church like this month.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was talking about, it was a ram.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? It was like holding them together.
Yeah.
And one was leaning. I remember our pastor Travis, one's ram was leaning and the other was high because they were unequally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a whole sermon about that.
Right.
So,
yeah. Yep. So, yeah, you want to be equally yoked. Just to your point, I wanted to add something to that. It's very important to, I think I had to recognize, like, no one is perfect, but that's not an excuse for just settling. Yes. You know what I'm saying? You do not want to settle. Once you know Christ, if that person does not know Jesus at all, if they're not even trying to get to know him, and you start noticing that, then you have to let that person go. Like, it's gonna be hard, but if you already see that they're not going in the same faith and direction, because one of y'all is gonna steer the other in one direction, and so it's not worth it if they're not saved and they're not trying to grow. Like, it's okay if you meet them and they're not where you are, but if they're not growing, getting better, attending church, and in it for the long haul, you got to throw up those deuces.
And there's a Bible verse for that as well. 2 Corinthians 6:14.
Yes.
And it says, "Be not unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness and iniquity, or wickedness?"
Exactly. So that's something to think about. Like, just again, it's not saying that anybody is perfect. Unfortunately, I see failed even Christian relationships, and I try to make sure that I don't paint this perfect picture for her that makes her think that like Christians aren't perfect. There are lots of sadly Christian divorces going on right now that I'm just like, whoa. But they still could be unequally yoked, and we'll get into that later, but I didn't realize that like even Christians can be unequally yoked. But.
And be very careful also for people who, like, I guess getting into my experiences, I had a lot of boys that would say they would wait for marriage, but it would be for me and not for God.
Wow.
And they were very lukewarm. And when I didn't want to participate in certain things, they would go off on me or get mad at me for not doing it because I wanted to wait, but I did it for God and not for myself. And they weren't even doing it for themselves either. They were doing it for me, because they thought they would have a chance with me.
Exactly.
Saying they would wait.
Exactly. And I've experienced that too. I've always had a guy say, oh yeah, wait, that's cool, but still try. And I'm just like, what? Like I thought you said you was gonna wait.
Exactly.
So yeah, I totally agree with that. And what are the things that you learned?
I think a lot of things I learned is loving myself first, making sure I have a firm foundation in my relationship with God, and also staying true to my standards and my purity.
Yes, that's so good. Okay, I love that. What else we got?
The next one is something we wish we knew before getting into a relationship.
Ooh, yeah. So for me, I would say in my younger years, because now that I'm older, I can definitely say like, you know, I know these things now. But I would say I just wish that I knew my worth more. I wish that I knew, you know, that I'm actually, you know, like I'm worth it. I'm worth the wait. Sometimes I settled because I just felt like I was going to lose that person, or I just jeopardized it because, you know, I wanted things to really work out. Now you ain't gonna catch me outside like that. Like it's just not gonna happen. And again, it's not saying that I'm perfect, but I know better. I know not to go to a person's house anymore. I know not to slip and fall in that way. I know that my Father loves me, and that I've said it several times to the Lord, even if I'm single forever, then that's what it is. That's the risk that I take, because I'm going to be faithful to him, and I've already made up my mind. And so if a guy does not respect me, does not see my worth, and is not trying to walk with Christ and wait until marriage, then it ain't going to happen.
Period. And something I wish I knew before getting into a relationship is making sure I love myself first.
Talk a little bit more. I can't hear you.
Because I learned that how can you love someone else if you first don't love God and yourself? And I also wish I knew that it's more into just waiting for marriage, but also waiting for other sexual stuff. So I wish I knew that. And I think just like what my mom said, is having my standards and not letting go of my standards for someone else. Yeah, because it's not worth it. Like you always, that's kind of the end result. It's like when that relationship fails, when you're hurt, when you're broken, then you just feel so used, and you realize it wasn't even worth it. Yes. I don't care how cute and fine they were. That's not enough to make it worth it. Worth your soul, worth your mind, worth your peace in the inside. If you don't have that peace, like, man, the wrong relationships and soul ties will disturb your peace, and nobody's amount of fineness is worth your peace, your joy, and your health, or any of that. Facts. Yeah, for sure. And something I always hold, even when about judging as well, is at the end of the day, if I'm not going to see none of those people. Right. I'm going to be face to face with God, and I'm going to have to hold account for my actions. Oh, that's so good. So I think what you're saying is, like, if they're judging you about being a virgin, for you, it's being a virgin. So they're judging you for that. You're like, so what? Because you're not my God. Exactly. Come on, okay. Like, do I need to say more? Yeah. So, in this episode, we really wanted to add some date ideas for y'all to have if you're in a relationship, married, or single. So, I said picnic, movies, and dinner. Okay. And then if you wanted to add some. Yeah, so I love these that you have. The other ones too: brunch, skating, and walks. I love going for walks. Walking has like become a love language for me, because it's just so peaceful and serene, seeing the nature and the things around you. So I feel like if you go on a date and just go walking with someone, that's inexpensive, and it just allows you that time to really get to know that person without worrying about money and who's paying for what. Skating is fun, so it's kind of like teamwork. So I think that's a good one too.
I like later on, like in a relationship, my favorite place is the beach. So my dream date, I think Alana asked me, and we're gonna get to that.
What? Oh yeah, what our dream dates were.
Yeah,
yes.
And we're gonna ask you at the end. But so yeah, our dream date. So mine would definitely be on the beach, like just a long walk on the beach. I know it sounds cheesy. I know it's in like every movie, but the beach is my favorite place. So if I'm dating someone and they become like my favorite person, or someone that I've at least had maybe 2 dates or 3 dates with them already, and it's like our 4th date, oh, let's go to the beach. Let's exploit that.
That would be so fun.
Yes.
Even just brunch on the beach, even though it's going to be a little messy because you're seeing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you can have a whole picnic blanket and all that stuff and have it set up nicely. So that's definitely it for me.
And my dream date is a picnic. Because it's inexpensive, so you don't gotta worry about money, and also you get to know them. And you have some good foods like sandwiches or tea, stuff like that.
I like that. That's a good dream date to start off with. So I like that.
Yes, and we also talk more about it on our Instagram as well.
Yep. So yeah, we did some Insta stories. So it should still be up with kind of Alana sharing her point of view on dating, and I was asking her some questions, and then I'm doing mine today. So I'll be posting mine. Once y'all see this, it'll be in our highlights because that's the only way it'll stay on our Instagram page. So check out our dating highlight on the it's under Mother-Daughter Duo, so we'll make sure that's all linked below for you. But Mother-Daughter Duo is our Instagram page. It also does say the Good Genes podcast as well. But highlights is where you'll get any like content that we talked about and discussed on Instagram as well.
Yes, and also, what is y'all dream date?
What is your dream date? Be sure to share that with us. You can comment below. Let us know what your dream date is. You can also comment below what any of those questions that we asked today. Like, what do you think is an appropriate age to talk to your daughter? Daughters, don't forget to answer what you feel is appropriate age for you to start dating. Don't forget to answer what do you feel is appropriate age to have that talk between the mother and daughter. So be sure to leave that below.
As a daughter, what age would you have liked your mother to have that conversation with you?
Okay, that's a good question too. Just to have an idea of what daughters would, when they would be comfortable with their moms talking to them about that. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we definitely are glad that we were able to have this dating conversation. I'm excited because I'm exploring more with wanting to start back dating, y'all. Yes, that's huge for me because, like I said, I've been so close to it. I've been so in a place where I was like, I'm done. And I'm really huge on purpose, and so it has to be purposeful, but I also want to have fun and enjoy life too. And so I want it to be hopefully with the right person when I do start actually going on dates, which should be soon. So
yeah, it must be nice.
Well, it's coming for you too, baby girl. Just trust and believe it is. But yeah, we'll be sharing more about dating later on. We'll kind of bring up the topic again.
Yep, whenever the episode we talk about sex and stuff like that. And there was an actual name for that too. I think the deep.
Oh, we're I can't think of it right now.
It's in the notes.
It's in our notes, yeah.
The messy room.
Yep. How'd I forget that, y'all?
And that was her idea.
I'm tired. That's all it is. I need a nap. I woke up early to take care of some stuff today. But yeah, the messy room is like a segment where we'll have an episode basically talking about some deep things. It might be sex. It might be mental health. So the messy room will kind of be a broad term for different things, but we are definitely going to have a messy room section or segment on sex and relationships. So we'll be back to kind of discuss that more, but be sure to also share this episode with others. like, comment.
Oh yeah, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, and also follow us on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Subscribe to this channel.
And we also now have a TikTok.
Yes, we do have a TikTok as well. We'll make sure that's in the description box. There was something else I was gonna say if it comes back to me, but oh yeah, be sure to just be on the lookout for episode 3 because that's gonna be more of a fun. We're excited about that one.
Yes.
We get to get out of our box a little bit. Our setup will be maybe a little bit different than this.
There's something new in our setup.
That's right. Speaking of our setup, do you guys see it? Voila, the good jeans. Our sign is up.
Yes.
We may be adding something more to that as well.
So just be in tune for that to see our whole process in this.
So yeah, so we want to thank you guys for watching. We hope that y'all enjoyed this episode.
Yes, and tune in Wednesday, and we'll be back with you guys later.
All right, bye. Thanks for watching.